Have any bourbon?
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Thank you, that will be all.
Oui, monsieur.
Well, where is our host?
He's not here. Nobody's here. What is happening?
Cigarette? It'll calm your nerves.
I don't smoke.
For Wadsworth, open after dinner. It's for you. Right then, are you comfortable? I make a good living.
Out with them, Wadsworth.
Ladies and gentlemen, these instructions are clear.
I'm glad something is.
It seems the six of you have all received the same letter. It will be to your advantage to be present on this evening because a Mr. Body will bring to end a certain long-standing, confidential, and painful financial liability.
That's correct.
As it turns out, you all have one thing in common.
Oh, that time at McCarthy. We're all being blacklisted, aren't we?
Plus, Colonel, you're all being blackmailed. For some considerable time, all of you have been paying more than you can afford to someone who threatens to expose you.
Well, what would somebody want to blackmail me for? I go to church every Sunday.
Yeah, lady, don't we all?
Anybody else wish to deny it? Until you'd received your letters, none of you knew who was blackmailing you. I hope I'm correct that even the least discerning amongst you has reasoned that the man behind your ransom is, of course, Mr. Body himself.
Who is this body fella, you brutish butler?
Mr. Body is no concern of yours. Suffice it to say, he's a supporter of the House Un-American Activity Committee, and he feels your activities have been decidedly un-American.
You see these men?
My program this evening is to expose your secrets to each other, rendering you all culpable in each other's indiscretions.
But we hardly even know each other.
Precisely.
Don't you think you might spare us this humiliation?
I'm afraid I have no choice. Let's see. We'll start with you, Professor Plum.
This ought to be good.
It says here you were once a professor of psychiatry, specializing in pathological, lying lunatics suffering from delusions of grandeur.
Yes, but now I work for the U.S. government.
So your work has not changed. But you can't practice medicine anymore, can you, Professor? Your license has been lifted, correct?
Why, what did he do?
You know how male doctors aren't supposed to date their lady patients?
Yeah?
Yeah, well, he did.
How awful! You know, someday there will be a reckoning for men like you.
I hope so.
Me too.
You're disgusting.
Are you making moral judgments, Mrs. Peacock?
Well, I think it's
How then
right.
do you justify taking bribes in return for delivering Senator Peacock's votes to certain lobbyists?
My husband is a paid consultant. There's nothing sinful about that.
Not if it's publicly declared, but if you slid cash under the stall door or down its grill, how would you describe that transaction?
I'd say it stinks.
When were you in the men's room?
So it's true.
No, it's a vicious lie.
But you've been paying the blackmail for over a year now to keep that story out of the papers, Mrs. Peacock. Seems a little sticky now.
Now you see
Well,
here.
I'm willing to believe you. I too made blackmail for something I didn't do.
So am I.
Not me.
You're not being blackmailed.
Oh, I'm being blackmailed. All right, I just did what I'm being blackmailed for.
What did you do?
I run a non-governmental agency that handles classified affairs.
Affairs? In Washington?
Is that how you knew Colonel Mustard works in Washington? Is he one of your clients?
Certainly not.
I was asking Miss Scarlet.
Well, do tell him it's not true.
It's not true.
Is that true?
No, it's not true.
Aha, so it is true.
A double negative. Double negative? You mean photographs?
Well, that sounds like a confession to me. In fact, your double negative has led to proof positive. I'm afraid you gave yourself away, Colonel.
You're trying to make me look stupid in front of all the other guests.
You don't need any help from me, sir.
Thank you. Now, wait a minute.
Colonel, looks like you hold a sensitive security post in the Pentagon. Those negatives will most certainly compromise your position, you know.
What position exactly were you caught in, Colonel?
This is an outrage.
Moving on. Let's see, who's next? Mrs. White, you've been paying our friend the blackmailer ever since your husband died under, shall we say, mysterious circumstances.
Say what you want. I didn't kill him.
Well, then why are you paying the blackmail?
I don't want another scandal, do I? We had a very humiliating confrontation. He had threatened to kill me in public.
Why would he want to kill you in public?
Well, I think she meant that he had threatened in public to kill her.
It was all over the papers.
And yet he was the one who died, not you, Mrs. White, not you.
He was found dead at home, unclothed. His head had been cut off, and so did you know. But I didn't do it. I've been out all evening at the movies.
What was showing?
The Naked Alibi.
A likely story.
But he was your second husband, Mrs. White. Your first also disappeared.
That was his job. He was an illusionist.
Well, but he never reappeared.
He wasn't a very good illusionist.
And lastly, Mr. Green, who is...
I don't need you to go and ask me, Wadsworth. I know what you're going to say about me.
What's that?
Mr. Green, who is a homosexual.
Not me.
I beg your pardon?
You asked who is a who's who is a homosexual? And I said, not me.
Yes, thank you, Colonel.
Mm-hmm.
But there's more to it than that, Mr. Green.
Oh, how do you mean?
Well, there's evidence to suggest the question of your politics.
My politics? Since when is working for the Republican Party
You
a
swore an
crime?
oath of allegiance to the Republican Party, yet you neglected to vote for Eisenhower in the last election. That's grounds for an ousting if ever there was one.
But voting records are confidential.
Everything has its price, Mr. Green.
So, there you have it.
Have what?
A crooked senator's wife, a lascivious doctor, a disloyal Republican, not exactly adhering to an all-American standard of behavior, are we?
Depends on who you ask.
This body fell such a noble civilian himself. Why doesn't he just report us to the authorities?
Oh, and miss out on the opportunity to make a buck? Come now, Professor, what could be more American than that?
Apple pie.
All right. Wadsworth, we're being blackmailed by a renegade McCarthyist. Where does that leave us?
Who is this Mr. Body?
And what does he want from us?
Who cares? I'm not waiting to find out. I've done nothing wrong. I'm leaving.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Peacock. You can stay in denial, but you cannot leave this house.
I am the wife of a great senator. You can't tell me what to do. Locked?
Indeed. All the doors are locked, the windows are barred, and the grounds are patrolled by vicious dogs. There's no way out. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce you to your host for the evening and your blackmailer for life, Mr. Body.
How do you do?
Oh, what is
Ooh, Mrs. White in the study with her knee.
Thank you. I've studied martial arts.
There is one more piece of information you may like to have.
What?
The police will arrive in less than an hour.
Unless
Unless what?
you agree to double down.
And why would we agree to that?
Because if you don't, I'll put this briefcase containing all the evidence needed to expose you in the hands of the police, the press, and the House of Un-American Committee. With the right spin, those fellas can make a commie out of anyone. I think some of you would face a lifetime in prison, and others a lifetime of shame.
How dare you!
You cannot! You know
Unless what?
Wait, unless what?
Well, there's something else that you can do for me. Something I can't bear to do myself.
What?
Please, have a seat.
Is it all right if I sit here?
Go ahead.
Sorry. Little accident prone, sorry.
So, what is this about?
In this bag, there are 6 packages that I thought our guests might find useful this evening.
Packages.
Presents, if you will. I'm a generous sort of fellow.
Are you?
Wadsworth, will you please see to it that each guest receives a gift?
Gladly.
Anyone want to make a guess
Perfume.
as to what's in your packages?
Candy?
A rare single malt Scotch whiskey?
Aren't guessing games fun? Please, open them.
A candlestick. What's this for?
A wrench.
A lead pipe?
A dagger?
A revolver?
No, it's a rope.
In your hands, you each hold lethal weapons. You all came here tonight because you believed the evidence against you was so terrible that you'd do anything to keep it a secret. I'm putting that theory to the test.
You are.
Mr. Wadsworth here is the only other person that knows about your secrets, and it's costing you all dearly to keep them quiet.
How
What do you
dare
mean?
you?
I wouldn't have to double your payments if I didn't have to pay Wadsworth for his silence.
Wadsworth?
That's a lie!
He may look suave and charming,
Thank you!
but he's really conniving and manipulative.
False!
Why do you think he called the police?
You called the police?
Well, only because he instructed me to do so!
Did I? Ladies and gentlemen, if you can manage to get rid of Mr. Wadsworth, I'll have no need to increase your blackmail or expose you to the police.
Get rid of?
Does he mean kill him?
Yes, I think that's what he means.
As a matter of fact, if you can eliminate Wadsworth, who not only knows all of your secrets, but also all of mine, I'll eliminate your blackmail altogether and be done with this terrible business once and for all.
You would never!
But why make us do it, Body? Why don't you do your damn dirty work yourself?
Yeah!
Why should I, when the six of you are so uniquely motivated and armed?
What a patriot.
After all I've done for you. Don't listen to him! He's a liar! I'm one of you! I'm not a butler, I'm an indentured servant!
A familiar refrain, Wadsworth. Don't make a scene. It's over. The only way for you to end your blackmail and avoid finding your faces in the front pages is for one of you to kill Wadsworth now!
Stand back! I'm a doctor. He's dead.
Oh my God!
I did.
So you shot him?
I didn't!
Well, if you didn't, then who did?
Somebody grabbed the gun from my hand, and the next thing I knew, there was a shot.
There's no gunshot wound.
He's right, there isn't.
Look, there's a bullet lodged over here.
Eagle Eye, Miss Scarlet.
Well, if the bullet's over there, then how did he die over here?
I don't know, I'm not a forensics expert.
Something else must have killed him.
One of us must have killed him.
Well, don't look at me, I didn't do it.
I need a drink.
Maybe Mr. Body poisoned the brandy.
Poison?
There, miss. It's really not a big deal. This is teacup. You'll probably be fine. I'm sure it's nothing to worry about.
Well, someone had to stop her screaming.
What, was the brandy poisoned?
How should I know?
Looks like now we'll never know.
Well, unless she dies too.
The scream's coming from the billiard room!